All right, here we go with game three. Really good on Scott to win out game number two there, knowing exactly what he needed to do to just blitz his best. And I think he mulliganed 7 in that last game too, in game two. But yeah, now Ed is going to be on the play after seeing what Ed mulligans. Then Scott will make his decision. So it looks like Scott opted for 5, and I didn't even see how many Ed opted for. But Ed finds the one drop into the Flynn Rider, and that's going to be very difficult for Ed to overcome here. Or sorry, for Scott to overcome, I mean. Turn 1 ice block, at least he's got a turn 1 play. And he does have that Queen of Hearts, which I don't even know. He's definitely going to play it, but he's not going to challenge with it. He's going to play it just to match the Flynn. He does end up banishing it. There's no way Ed trying to make the read on the Queen of Hearts there, because what else could he have? I think Scott isn't Scott only on one of the amount of times he's drawn this Queen of Hearts as a one of. It is one Queen of Hearts. I'm looking at his list right now. He's drawn this card a lot in his opening hand for a one of. But he does have the ice block. So next turn he's going to be able to ice block the Sisu. I mean ice block the Flynn and then drop Sisu on it. So Scott's not too worried about this other Sisu on the opposing board here. He already knows what his game plan is. I don't even know about inking the Maui here. I think you might have to ink the ramp. Yeah, ink the sail. Actually, I don't even know if that's correct. Maybe it was correct to try to go for the brawl. But yeah, as expected, he goes for the Sisu to out the Flynn Rider with the ice block. And this is not a terrible position for Scott. Oh, that friends hurts. Ink a Diablo and play hopefully not a rabbit. Okay, a goat. On 2 lore, pass the turn. As usual, Scott needing to find that 4-drop, Hiram or Grandma. Does not see it, gets a Maleficent Dragon instead. He might be forced to hardcast this How Far I'll Go. I think he wants to keep the Maui for sure because it represents good trades into Ruby Amethyst right now. Because it'll trade out with both the Sisu and or the goat and something else, right? Ink Brawl or Dragon and play the How Far I'll Go. Doesn't feel great, but I don't think you have too many other options right now. No, gonna go for Ice Block. The Brawl doesn't do anything. You have to play the How Far I'll Go here. I don't know. Scott's impressed me with his plays, so I mean, I'm sure he knows a better line. I guess yeah. I guess this is the other play. Double ice block on the goat most likely. Or the Sisu, okay, to brawl it. You don't fear the shift, do you? Here in this scenario, I mean, getting double ice block on board is very nice. I just think digging for answers right now with the How Far I'll Go might have been a more interesting play. Stopping the quest 2 on the Sisu, sure. Go to 3. Ed is just looking for card draw. That's what you want in this matchup. I don't think he'll go bounce, but he might. Bounce here isn't necessarily the worst, but I think he definitely goes for the Diablo 1-drop. Wants to stop the Sisu, and yeah, the Diablo 1-drop, you definitely go for that. So opting not to go for the bounce, actually inking the Fox, but he still has a snake in hand. Leaving that goat open to a Maui, he does top deck an Inkable, which is going to allow the Maui to take out the goat. And if that Maui lives, it will be able to sing that How Far I'll Go, which is actually a better value than hard casting on the following turn. 1 card in hand for Scott, and I think pretty much near a full grip for Ed. The only thing that Ed could really have here to devastate Scott's board would be a crab or a fox, which he did ink. The Tremaine comes through, takes out the queen. So good insulation there for Scott. Quest with the Diablo pass. Depending on what Scott draws, he might just challenge with this Maui instead of singing. Nope, he is going to sing. Gets the Sisu. And this is like this double ice block here actually represents one of the only ways that Scott can really have a chance in this matchup, in my opinion, because I've talked about this before in my deck profiles, like into the Amethyst decks, and especially the way that Ed's deck is built, which is crazy. You need the ice block in order to actually get value off of your big Sisu here, because otherwise the goats, the Tremaines in this case, the foxes, the snakes, they all just dodge the big Sisu. Okay, we've got a pass there. Ed only on 2 cards in hand, though. Opting to trade the Tremaine into the Maui, valuing keeping the Diablo on board, playing out a Flynn and passing turn. If Scott rips the inkable, ooh, you don't want to ink that. But you have to, because the Flynn will proc otherwise. Draw 1. Ed is happy about that. Draws into his own big Sisu. And Ed is ahead on the lore count, but is only on 6 ink with a Brawl inkable. Passing turn, opting not to ink the Brawl and play the Be Prepared. Letting him quest for 3. And passing turn. I did not see what Scott drew there. There's the Rabbit. That's the card you want to see in this matchup. There's the draw. I don't even know if you ink the... Yeah, you ink the Brawl here because you have the Sisu to take care of the Hiram, and then you play the Library here for sure. Pass turn. Yeah. Draw into a Maui Shark. Your opponent's on 2 cards in hand. You probably are putting them on having at least a Be Prepared because they play 4. So now the heart... Oh, he had a Tamatoa in hand too. Oh my goodness. And he ended up inking that Popsicle, which hurts. Do you try to take out the Library? You can't race. Like, you'll lose the race. But only on 2 Mauis? Let me double check his list here. Yeah, 2 Maui hero to all, 4 Maui half shark. Oh, they ended up cutting back to the casters for some reason. Not sure why. Usually that means a judge has intervened for some reason. Hopefully we don't see any game losses or anything like that. I'm just trying to look through Scott's list here. Wait, what happened? What? Why did they cut away from it? Okay, so what probably happened there, he puts 5 damage into the Library and then plays the Shark, and then Ed plays Tremaine, and Scott chooses to banish the Sisu, keeping the Shark, and then Ed moves his onboard Rabbit to the Library, and that's where we're at. But then Scott plays as a follow-up the Maui. So he didn't play it the turn that he played, that the Tremaine came down. So he had to banish the Sisu. So he played it on the following turn, then passes back to Ed. And now Ed sees a Rabbit. This game should be over. Ed should be very much closing this one out. Like, all you need to see is the Rabbits. As soon as you see the Rabbits, the game it's pretty hard for the Ruby Sapphire player to come back. Because now you just outgrind. Oh my gosh, and the Snake. Don't even leave the Exerted Rabbit for the Shark to claw anything back. And what's funny is, like, the Pirate's Life is a way for you to potentially, like, slow the Ruby Amethyst deck down, but even the Pirate's Life is just too slow. Move Tremaine. Trade a Maui Shark interaction for a draw 1. Sure. Maui Shark can get back a Brawl or a How Far I'll Go. Weaken the Tremaine. Play a Hiram to banish, draw 2. Ed should have an answer for that Hiram in his hand and be prepared, and the big Sisu. We do see another big Sisu here, but no ink to play it, or the dragon here. Ed knowing full well that the shark will likely take out the library here. It represents too much value over time compared to the 2 lore that the Tremaine is going to get anyways. And he has to pass on that, not utilizing the rest of his ink, which hurts. Ed is going to go up to 16 here and play another meaningful interaction, which is going to be that big Sisu to wipe the Hiram off the board. Ed going full bling mode with those double enchanteds on board. There is not much that Scott can do. Even the Pirate's Life isn't going to do enough for you here. So what he's going to have to do, I don't know. Hardcast Pirate's Life, challenge into Lady Tremaine, get back Pirate's Life. That doesn't even do anything because he's got a 3 questing Sisu on board. So no. Get back. Did he think he played the Pirate's Life already? Inca Tipo. Okay, yeah, Dragon. Yeah, that slows him down. I mean, it doesn't even matter what line of play you go for. It's over. Go to 18. Yep. Pay 2, bounce rabbit. Keep everything readied up. Play around the shark. Draw a card. Ink for turn. Replay rabbit. Pass turn with lethal on board. Put your opponent on remove all my characters, which he can remove 2 in the snake and the rabbit with the ice block Sisu. But then his opponent goes to 19. He probably has a goat in his hand. Not much Ruby Sapphire can do here. Sing Pirate's Life. No? Okay. Those cards do not help. What's funny is game 2, Ed, Scott took that game basically because Ed's hand was really bad. So, like, Ruby Amethyst essentially lost to itself. To be fair, Ruby Sapphire did what it needed to do, just very, very much faster than it would normally try to do it. You saw Scott being very aggressive, which ended up working out. He's on 5. Yep, as expected, clearing 2, and that's all you can really. I mean, do you sing Pirate's Life here with the dragon? Gain 3, go to 8, reduce your opponent down to 16. And now your board gets Be Prepared, which you probably put your opponent on having, considering they've drawn a lot of cards with rabbits lately. Quest, go to 17. Like, Ed is so comfortable here. He already knows. He's ready to move the dice. And then insult to injury, follow up with the 1-drop Diablo. So annoying. So annoying for the Ruby Sapphire player. I'm rooting for Ruby Amethyst. I already called that in my deck profile that I did at the beginning of the day before this even started. I said, I hope the single Ruby Amethyst ends up winning, so that way we could say that EU championships and NA championships were won by Ruby Amethyst, which is the deck close to my heart personally. Happy to see that this deck is... Just because, I mean, I don't know why people don't like this deck or don't like Ruby Sapphire. These are at least interactive decks, right? Versus like Amber Steel, aggro and stuff, where they're just like flooding the board and turning stuff sideways. And I'm like, oh, I just have to draw the removal. At least this, you see there's some thought going into it, right? You have cards in hand, you're making choices. You're not just playing off the top, my hand's discarded, or I flooded the board and just put you on having the removal. Otherwise, I win the game by turning stuff sideways. There's actual interaction here, right? But that being said, it's still a pretty hard match for Ruby Sapphire to win here. What's funny is in Ed's top 16 run, he didn't run into any of the Ruby Sapphire. All the Ruby Sapphire were paired against the Emerald Steel. So, I said in I think it was game one, that Ed kind of had a little bit of a luck factor on his side in not having to play against the Amber Steel decks because they were all on the other side of the bracket, which is probably one of the decks that give him and his deck a little bit more trouble than usual. But on the flip side of that, Ed did have to fight through what was arguably a tough round 16 in Sapphire Amethyst. Again, I don't remember what he played in top 8, but he overcame that. It might have been a Ruby Sapphire. But a lot of the Ruby Sapphires were on the opposing side of the bracket with those Amber Steel players. And ironically enough, they ended up eliminating a lot of those Amber Steel players, I'm pretty sure. So it ended up working out very nicely for Ed. And sometimes, well, not sometimes, usually you do need luck on your side in order to win these games. But yeah, I mean, at this point, the follow-up rabbits, oh my gosh, it's so good into this matchup. It's like, yeah, wipe my board, I'll just follow up with a rabbit. Replace itself again when it leaves, give me a +1. Represents 1 lore on the board. Like, rabbit is so powerful. Yeah, he just, oh my gosh. Sing the B prep, give him another draw. He's got the library on the board at 17 lore. He might even be at 18. Pop. He has to try to draw with the Hiram. And even if Scott is able to take the next game, he lost his on the play advantage from being the top seed in this matchup. Play Grandma. Is that a Tamatoa and a Tipo? So you definitely take the Tamatoa here and put the Tipo to the bottom. Actually, you may have... Oh, he's got the Hideaway. That's actually pretty good. I don't even know how many cards Ed is on in hand. But I'm assuming he has the removal for the Hiram. And he's definitely not worried at all about the Grandma. Yeah, he does have the removal for the Hiram. And what does he follow up with? A 2 questing Sisu. A 1-cost Broom. Again, just being annoying, saying, yeah, this is a 1-cost character that quests for 1. So you have to out it because I'm at 17 already. He does have the Pirate's Life, a 2nd copy. He's going to start with Visions. This is lethal on board for Ed. I don't even know how many cards Ed has in hand. He may not have that many. And I would imagine that Scott is looking for a Shark. Like, having a Shark Vitality Sphere set up here would actually be like really strong, but that's very wishful thinking given the situation. So I did not see what he took. Was it a Sail? Because he had double Tamatoa in hand already in the Pirate's Life, right? So he is digging. There's a Popsicle. He can dig some more. He has not inked for turn yet, so he still has the availability to play the Pirate's Life. He's 5 ink for turn. There's the Hiram. He has to play this Pirate's Life. So he has to ink a Tamatoa and play the Pirate's Life. Otherwise, he loses the game next turn. He will go to 10, and his opponent will go to 15. I thought Ed was on 18, but I guess not. Okay, yeah, I guess he is on 15 now, not 16 from being at 18 before. I think you do quest here, because there's no real downside in not questing. And Ed shows I have it anyways, don't even need to draw a card. And just like that, Ed takes game number 3, going up 2-1 on his closeout match. Scott is going to be on the play though.